There is a silence that falls before the storm, not outside, but within. A silence filled with whispers, doubtful, fearful, persistent. Every man at some point in his life finds himself standing on the edge of uncertainty. Before him lies a path not yet taken. Behind him, comfort, familiarity, safety, but also stagnation, mediocrity. It is here in the quiet hour of decision that a voice begins to speak. Who are you to try? What if you fail? What if you're not enough? These are the voices of doubt and fear, invisible enemies, but no less real than armies on the march. They do not break down walls. They do not storm the gates. No, they erode you from within. They question your worth. They challenge your will. They poison your dreams. But hear me now. Doubt and fear are not signs of weakness. They are signs that you are on the edge of greatness. They appear only when you are about to grow, about to rise, about to step beyond the person you once were, a man who seeks nothing, fears nothing, but a man who seeks to build, to speak, to lead. He will always feel the pressure, the trembling, the resistance, because greatness never comes without a price, and courage never appears in times of ease. I have faced fear, the fear of failure, the fear of ridicule, the fear of watching a nation collapse under the weight of tyranny. And I tell you this, fear is a reaction. Courage is a decision. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the resolve to move through it. The man who feels no doubt is often the man who dares nothing, but the man who trembles and still moves forward. He is the true bearer of strength. We are taught to admire strength, steel, stone, fire. But I tell you, true strength lies in the man who keeps walking. When every step feels like rebellion against his own instincts, fear will tell you to wait. Fear will tell you to prepare a little longer. Fear will whisper, not today. But if you obey that voice, not today becomes not ever. History remembers those who defied that whisper, men and women who stood not because they had no fear, but because they chose to stand anyway. Do not look for the perfect moment. You will die waiting. Do not wait for the fear to disappear. It will not. Instead, act in spite of it. Walk into the unknown, even if your hands shake, even if your voice breaks. But walk. When I stood before the House of Commons, in our darkest hour, I did not feel peace. I felt the full weight of history pressing down on my shoulders. I felt the eyes of millions. I felt doubt clawing at the edges of my mind. But I spoke because silence was not an option, and so must you. Your life will demand moments of speech, of movement, of decision, and when they come, you must choose action over hesitation, boldness over retreat. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. These are not words for decoration. They are truth, written in blood and fire, in sleepless nights and trembling hands. Doubt will ask you to step back, but purpose will ask you to step forward. So I ask you now, which voice will you obey? The man who wins is not always the fastest, nor the loudest. Often, he is the man who simply refuses to stop. He stumbles, he falls, he questions himself in the dead of night. But he rises again and again, and that is where fear begins to lose its power. Not when it disappears, but when it can no longer control you. Fear feeds on inaction. It grows in silence. It thrives in hesitation. But it shrinks. Oh, how it shrinks when you take even one small step forward. Think of every great moment in history, every turning point, every breakthrough. They were not born in comfort. They were forged in resistance, under pressure. surrounded by uncertainty. The storm is not the enemy. The storm is the test. And within the storm, you will discover what you are truly made of. There will be moments when no one believes in you, when even you will find it hard to believe in yourself. But I urge you, do not surrender to that shadow, because here lies a secret they do not teach you in schools. You do not need to feel brave to be brave. You only need to act, to do what must be done. Even when your voice shakes, even when your hands tremble, courage is born in movement, in the very act of defying the fear that binds you. So let others wait. Let them make excuses. Let them hide behind reasons and doubt and delay. But you must rise. The world does not belong to the fearless. It belongs to those who move, despite the fear. There is a myth that strength is something you are born with. But I have seen the opposite. I have seen the meek become mighty, the uncertain become unshakable, not by nature, but by decision. Each time you confront fear and refuse to retreat, you are forging a new version of yourself, stronger, sharper, braver. Do not underestimate the quiet victory of standing your ground. You may not hear applause. There may be no parade, but the battle you win within yourself is the greatest conquest of all. This world will test you. It will throw obstacles in your path. It will whisper, "You are too late. You are too small. You are too broken." But that voice is a lie. Let me tell you what is true. You are capable of more than you know. And the only way to find that truth is to walk straight into the fire. Not once, not twice, but every time the fear returns. You may lose friends. You may face ridicule. You may fail. But failure is not the end. It is merely a forge. And doubt, though loud, has no teeth if you do not feed it. You do not need the approval of the world to act. You do not need certainty. You need only resolve. Remember this, the path of greatness is not paved in ease, it is built in endurance. It is a path for those who are willing to be uncomfortable, uncertain, and still press forward. Kites rise highest against the wind, not with it. Let your resistance lift you, not stop you. Now I ask you, pause, truly pause, and ask yourself, what would your life look like if you no longer let fear make your decisions? Not someday, not in 10 years, but now. You are not alone in your doubt. Every man who ever built something lasting felt its weight. Every woman who ever broke through walls heard the same voice. You can't, but they moved anyway. They didn't wait for courage to arrive. They became courage through motion. So whatever it is you fear, failure, rejection, exposure, ridicule, I urge you, meet it, not with perfection, not with certainty, but with unbreakable will. Because the world is not changed by the brilliant who never act. It is changed by the ordinary, who move despite their doubt. You have a fire within you. You may not see it, but it is there. And every time you silence the voice of fear with a step forward, that fire grows brighter. Let it burn. To each, there comes in their lifetime a moment when they are figuratively tapped on the shoulder and offered the chance to do something truly great. What a tragedy if that moment finds them unprepared or unwilling. Be ready, be willing, and when the moment comes, step into it with all your strength, because this very battle with doubt and fear is not your weakness. It is your making. Ready to rise? Then subscribe and take the first step.